Hey, welcome to the Razzle Dazzle Show, a podcast where we talk about our favorite video games and all things pop culture with an emphasis on our favorites. I'm your host, Jared, and our guest today is Alex Faciane. Alex Faciane is a funny internet person who talks and writes about video games, writes video games, and has a few podcasts that he doesn't quite understand the success of. Find him on the Chilluminati podcast, the Star Wars Old Canon Book Club, and the long-running Old Man Let's Play shows Super Beer Bros and Scary Game Squad. And he's got a lot of other stuff he can't talk about yet coming real soon. Let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet, and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Razzle Dazzle Show, on TikTok at Razzle_Dazzle_Show, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Raz_Daz_Pod. And with all that being said,
it's Razzle Dazzle time!
Hello, Alex. Thank you so much for being on the show. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. It's Saturday. It's vibes. It's, I can literally hear birds right now. I feel great.
I love that. A quick Kickstarter question. Are you still a cop?
The ever eternal question. Like, I didn't think when we started that bit that it would be hard to be like, yeah, I'm a cop. Now it feels shitty to be like, yeah, I'm a cop.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But I guess like for the sake of the bit, for that person who asked that, you know it.
Thank you. I figured, you're here, you're on the show. I have to ask you, it's something I had to do. But
I get it.
For real, can you tell me, where did you grow up and how would you describe the musical background of your childhood?
Wow. Okay. Well, I'm from San Pedro, California, which is part of Los Angeles. We really don't want to be part of Los Angeles that much because we're like pretty old compared to Los Angeles. And it's clear that the reason that Los Angeles tries to keep San Pedro part of Los Angeles is because we have the port of Los Angeles, And
yeah.
in exchange, it's nice down. It feels like Los Angeles more, but it's really like a quiet suburban place for the most part. But if you look at LA, there's like downtown LA, there's like the main LA, and then there's like this little like line that is South Central, and then we're like at the end, and like everybody besides the big main LA is like. But that's where I'm at. It's a very beachy place. I'm from like the South Bay of Los Angeles. I know there's another South Bay in NorCal, but I'm from the South Bay of Los Angeles. It's a very specific place. Musical history of my childhood. I don't even really know what that means exactly, but I was in theater. I played piano when I was a kid. I learned how to play bass when I was in high school, and I played in a band for a long time. And like listening to music wise, like San Pedro is like a skater punk kind of place. Mm-hmm. Mike Watt from the Minutemen is like from San Pedro, and Recess Records is in San Pedro, and also the band Ambrosia is from San Pedro, which is kind of tight. You know what band that is? That's How Much I Need Your Love. Whatever, doesn't matter. That's how much. That's how much. That's Pedro. That's from Pedro. But yeah. So I listen to music like a 65-year-old man. Basically. I listen to a lot of punk music, and I listen to a lot of music from like 1959 to 1979.
Gotcha. No, I love that. Yeah, I'm into oldies as well. Like I listen to I go, and this is like a very broad umbrella, but like 50s to 90s, right? But if I want to get like tighter into it, Motown is like, that's my jam, that's my shit. Temptations, man, like, bro, I was lucky enough to see them live when they came down to Fort Myers like a year or two ago.
Like 5 skeletons like dancing and freaking. Like, holy shit.
And as a surprise, I got like the opener for the Temptations were the Four Tops, and I didn't even know they were going to perform.
I don't even understand. That's so weird to me. That's like you telling me like, dude, I got an autograph from George Washington the other day. It was crazy, man. It was nuts. Abe Lincoln was on the fucking flip side. It was nuts.
Yeah, man. I've loved the Temptations ever since high school, and Otis Williams is the last surviving member of the originals, and I got to see him live. So like it was tight.
Yeah, that's wild. I saw Brian Wilson play one time, like when I was in high school, like a little after high school. He put out this thing because the Beach Boys were supposed to put out this album called Smile, famously. And then he went crazy and nobody liked it and yada yada. He did a bunch of drugs and he became like Santa during like summer vacation, like when he's on a greeting card in summertime. But I saw him play it and it was cool, even though it was Brian Wilson and like one other Beach Boy and like a bunch of young people. Still cool. Yeah.
It's better than nothing, right? You saw That's a true. Beach Boy.
Yeah, it's technically better than nothing. That is true.
Yeah.
That is true.
Did you have any instruments growing up in your household?
Yeah, I took piano lessons when I was a kid, and I played piano all the time, keyboard, and eventually, like, I don't know, my friend had a bass, and my other friend, like, her dad was like a rock star guy, like he just like played a bunch of bands and had all this shit in his garage, and so I was like, well, I could learn bass, and so I don't know, I was like 16 or 17 at the time,
Yeah.
and I learned bass. And I just I'm not good. I mean, I don't know. Like, I never really learned music, but I did play live shows all over Los Angeles for like several years.
Yeah, weren't you in a band like 19-ish or something?
I was in a band for a long time.
Yeah.
We were called Heroes and Heroines, and then we were called the Squids.
The Squids. Yeah. I have been teaching myself how to play the bass as well. I got that as a Christmas gift from my grandpa. So I'm like, yeah, great. I'm going to learn now.
It's pretty easy. It's like the closest to Guitar Hero that you can get, I think.
Yeah. And did you have any video game consoles growing up in the household?
Of course I did. I was like originally the first like console I got ever was Genesis. But I like all my friends had Nintendo and Super Nintendo, so I got Genesis, and I was like a big Sonic guy. And I've always loved Sega, and I think that kind of contributes to why I have kind of like a less common taste in video games today, because I think where Sega's head was at and where Nintendo's head was at were like a little different back then. And I stayed with Sega, but I also ended up with like PS1, PS2. I became like a very like big gamer. That was like a big, like as soon as I made money, I like started becoming like a retro gamer and a current gamer, and it became like one of my big hobbies. So
yeah, man, and it formed into a career of following video games, and we'll get to that in a minute.
Now I'm rich and successful, and it's really easy. And video games has brought me prosperity beyond my wildest dreams.
You are set for life.
I'm good. I got my giant Gengar. What are these called?
Squishmallows.
Yep. I'm good. That's luxury, baby. It's like a Rolex.
And yeah, we'll get to all that in a minute. But what kind of music was being played growing up by your parents?
Same stuff.
Same stuff.
Literally, if you see a movie that's like set in America in the 60s, right, and it's like a generic, boring, stereotypical white family, like that's what my family was like. They'd put on records in the house and like do like the sock hop and shit, like very, very like even today, like I don't know. I very much have a sense of that time period because that is where my entire family is frozen on both sides, my dad and mom.
Like still even to this day?
Yeah, like my dad, like he loves like to like put like photo albums together of the family, but he also puts together like playlists like of like different vibes and stuff, and it's always just like the same like 175 songs from that same era,
just played in different orders.
Yeah. And I was gonna say, I forget the name of it, but if you like Motown and you're in Florida, like there is some compilation that I got like a couple years ago that was like the Miami, like Motown of Miami, and it's like dark, evil sounding.
Yeah, I'm from Miami. Motown. Yeah, it's
like dark, evil sounding Motown from like a similar like similar to like Hitsville, but it's like in Miami. I can't remember what it's called, but
interesting.
It's out there.
Yeah.
Alternate universe Motown.
Yeah. I'm going to have to do some research on that because growing up in Miami, like for 20 years, I'm like, I never heard, I mean, I would think like, I should have been familiar with like the whole music scene and like what record companies are there. I mean, why
would you be?
Because I'm into that.
Well, nobody gives a shit about any of that stuff anymore, though.
Well, I mean, for another reason why I would be is because my stepdad, he's an audio engineer, and he's worked with like Shakira, Pitbull, the Estefans, and shit like that, and he worked at this record place or whatever called Luna, I think, and I figured like that's already a good place to start, and should have snowballed a little bit, but it didn't. So now I am gonna do that research. So thank you for letting me know about that.
Actually, hold on. I think I might get it. I might have it right here. Hold on. Let me see. Deep City is the name of the label.
Deep City. Okay. Deep City.
Deep City. I think it's Miami. I'm pretty sure. I don't want to lie to you, but I'm pretty sure I nailed this. Eccentric Soul, the Deep City label. I think it's called Deep City.
Deep City. I'll take your word for it.
You can leave this in or not, but yeah, there's a doc about it. The birth of the Miami sound, Deep City.
All right. There we go. There we have it. Thank you for that. Do you remember the first band or musician that really got your attention when you were young?
Like where I like got all hype?
Yeah.
I feel like
you're like, yeah, man, this is my shit.
I feel like The band that I like went and saw and like
Yeah.
got into independent of my parents and stuff most, I think, was probably the Strokes. But I also got really into like Weezer and Green Day because
Mhm.
it's like they're both like from the zone and almost like they were like the most popular things ever. Because
Yeah.
like when I was a kid, when I was like in middle school and high school, it was like the pinnacle of like K-rock time.
Mhm.
I don't know if you know what K-rock is, but
Korean
it's like,
rock.
No, like it was like KROQ. It was like a radio
Oh.
station that was like LA's alt station. It was like, you know, like a straight up like scene defining radio station. Like Nirvana was on there and like all those bands. And so like I said, South Bay was like a super like rock punky guitars stayed in that like in the prominence. Like when I was playing music like less than 10 years ago, people were still playing guitar live every night. Pretty cool stuff.
Cool. Do you remember the first physical music that you've owned that was yours?
Yeah. I bought a single that like so when I was young, there actually were music stores.
Yeah.
And I'd go buy music. Like I remember one time, this is not the first thing that I bought, but I do remember skipping school to buy the Weezer album Make Believe and like sitting there outside of school up the block, like listening to it with my buddy, like being like, the first thing I ever bought, I was like much younger. They used to sell like just like how there used to be 45s back in the day on vinyl. There used to be single CDs where you could like buy like for like $4, like one song, like one or two songs, like the song, and then like a 9-minute club mix on there. And I bought the song. It's Five.
Yep.
Five. I don't remember. I think the band was called Five.
Yes, it is. It's spelled with A5 and then IVE. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember what the tagline was of the chorus of the song, but it was like, and I remember I bought that and I bought the Bewitched. What was that song called? Some people say I look like my dad. Ha ha ha. It's one of the most dated songs that was popular back then. There was like an Irish pop situation going on. C'est la vie is what it was called. Say you will, say you won't, say you do what I don't. You could tell even when I was a little boy that I loved like bubblegummy pop sound. So yeah, boy bands like sometimes hit it because they're very scary sometimes.
Boy bands?
Yeah, boy bands kind of do this like weird like goth vampire thing a lot. Like it's fucking weird. Like Five was all right. Like I don't think that was like my favorite. I honestly think I liked Bewitched more because I felt like boy bands did this like, you know, like yeah, mother. Like they were like trying to be like, I don't even know, like villain. I don't know what they were trying to do. They were trying to do like Alucard. I don't know, but
so like
the girl groups that were like not doing like the hard hip hop that were kind of more poppy were like just bubblegum rock, but like years down the line. I love that shit, and I still do. Like even like my own bands, all kind of like, even though they were pretty hard bands, like punk band wise, we always have cutie sweetie sounds.
Yeah. And I'll bring up your recent boy band. I think it's recent. We'll
it's like 10 years old.
Yeah, I say recent. Isn't that crazy? Have you been seeing those memes in the internet that's like what 10 years ago feels like, but what 10 years ago actually feels like?
I know.
Is that same vibe, man?
And I'm way older than you. Imagine how I feel. Imagine how I feel. This guy was literally, before we started, he was like, I just wanted you to know that I'm a young professional working at a radio station now, but when I started listening to you, I was a middle school child, a baby. And I said, yep, okay.
Which makes sense. I mean, you said it. You guys have talked about it for, all this time, for the past 10 years on Beard Bros and stuff. Like the main the main demographic for your show is like middle school, high schoolers, and it's like, all right.
I remember 10 years ago, or actually now it was 11 years ago. I always use the Batman movies as ways to demark time.
Wow.
There's so many of them. Because there's so many. The Dark Knight Rises with Tom Hardy. Oh, Batman.
Yeah.
Remember that movie?
Of course.
So first of all, that movie's 11 years old.
Oh my God.
So where were you?
I was 11. Where was
you?
I?
You were 11 years old.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were an 11-year-old. Okay. And I was here in this house with these clothes on doing this job, like in this house, in this room for the same, like I'm doing like, that's the thing that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This next question I have requires some context. As I mentioned, I am a producer, audio engineer for WGCU, this radio station in Southwest Florida, and we have this show, this other podcast called 3 Song Stories, where we tell people's biography through music. And the guest comes on the show and they pick 3 songs that whenever they listen to it, instantly transports them back to like a moment in time where they have a significant story to share with. And I'm also a part of that show too. So I want to ask you, do you have one song story off the top of your head?
A song story off the top of my head. Let me look at my iTunes most played. And
man.
We'll see where we're at. Because I don't know, bro. Let's see. Why isn't that the top playlist? That's a user interface issue. Okay, well, this is not correct. This playlist was made, it seems like 9 to 12 years ago. But at the top of the list is a song called Oh No by a band called Dr. Dog. Okay? And Dr. Dog was a great band when I feel like your age, but actually I was probably older than you are now listening to Dr. Dog when I was listening to them. But I went to go see another band when I was very young at a venue that is actually legendary. I actually got to play there one time. It was really cool, called the Troubadour in Los Angeles, which is I think John Lennon got thrown out of there one time at a Smothers Brothers show.
Cool.
Like it's a cool place. And I was at a show there watching a band called Architecture in Helsinki because, like I said, I'm really into like cutie stuff. So it was like they were kind of like a twee like orchestral twee band. It was like a twee band with like 13 people in it because that was what was popular on pitchfork.com in like 2007. And so that's what I was listening to. And they were going to come out and play with like little instruments and little tambourines and little cutie keyboards and little ukuleles and stuff like that and kazoos and make like a cute little symphony together, all these people. And we were like waiting to see them. But then Dr. Dog came out. We had never heard of Dr. Dog. They were not popular at the time. And in fact, they were just the side project of another band at the time too. But they came out and they had so much energy that they blew everyone's dicks off. Like it was like the greatest thing I've ever seen. Like they were dancing around the stage, like doing like kind of like do-si-doing each other while they were playing guitar, and they were very vivacious. And I think they were from Philadelphia or Baltimore or something like that. And they just kind of had a vibe like they had never been to Los Angeles before, and they just blew everybody away because they sounded exactly like the Beatles with their like D sustained like harmonies, like literally like just came in and blew everybody's mind. And Oh No was like the first song I ever saw them play.
Oh no. Oh no.
And I ever since then, the album Easy Beat by Dr. Dog, I've always like held it dear. I would love a copy of that vinyl. I don't even know if there's ever been a reissue. My fucking friend has a copy, but he bought it at the right time in the ancient past. So I don't know when I'll ever have a chance, but the song Oh No by Dr. Dog, I mean, it's not the most beautiful, meaningful story in a personal way, but I will tell you, like, if we're talking about formative music moments about like what I want to be like on stage, like what kind of energy I want to bring to a live venue, just the idea that, you know, you don't have to follow the trends to make good things, you know, people kind of being nerds about certain specific time periods, like becoming their careers, right? And I feel like I kind of ended up doing that in another way. Sort of. You know?
Yeah, no, 100%. No, I love that. That's perfect. Thank you so much. That is a song story to a T. It doesn't have to be like, oh, well, it's such an emotional thing that happened or whatever, but like it's something that is important to you, meaningful to you. How does that song fit into your life today?
It's a pretty chill song. Like you could throw it on while you're like driving down the freeway or at a barbecue.
Yeah.
They're just a good little band. They're just cuties. Like I say, like I appreciate, you know that documentary, what the hell is it called? Jiro Dreams of Sushi. Do you know this?
I do.
It's about like this guy who lives at this, works at a like subway train station sushi bar that he owns.
Yeah. And
it's like one of the finest sushi restaurants in the world, just for the listeners. Yeah. And he's just so simple. He does exactly the right thing. It's exactly precise. It's so practiced. He's limited by the like very stringent techniques of making sushi. And I think that simple music, like that's structured simply and uses like the basic chord structure and like chord progressions of like rock and blues and stuff like that. I feel like you really have to be kind of clever and innovative and interesting and a student to sort of like succeed at doing that in a way that feels alive. And especially if you're looking back towards like sort of older styles, it's really hard to, it's really hard not to become overly ambitious and go places that, look at it as if you could do anything. And I think like, even in my own life, like looking at my day as if I could do anything is really scary because I don't really have a job. If you think about it, like I don't actually have a job.
You don't clock in. You're not making a salary.
I have now I have even less of a job than I've ever had. Like I do it all just from my home when I want to with people that I want to work with.
Yeah.
And I hope people keep watching, right?
Yeah, man.
But
and also like with patrons and stuff like us, the show is a patron of Super Beer Bros that happened recently. So I don't know if you saw that.
Congratulations. But the thing that's crazy about it to me is like I used to think when I was like 20, 25, when I was doing the same exact job. Like I thought I got to do as much stuff as I possibly can. I have to throw as much shit at the wall as possible because it's always changing. The algorithm's always evolving. And I'm finding as I get older that that's exhausting. And it's, if you look at my career now and what I'm doing, I'm sort of like saying, fuck that. And just kind of like trying to like close it and narrow it and hone myself. And so I feel like you could look at that song or any song like that, like a perfect 2.5 minute rock pop song like that. And you could say, you know what, on the one hand, this is like light ephemeral horseshit, but actually if you care about it and you look at it deeper, there's more to it and there's more nuance and as intangible as those things are, they're very like effective. I always use the Egg McMuffin as a good example of this. There's something about a sausage McMuffin with egg, right? That maybe with a little hot sauce on it that like transcends the like absolute like capitalism like grease fart of a thing that it actually is. There's something beautiful about it. Maybe you're gonna have 2 of them. There's something seductive about that delicious little perfectly designed breakfast sandwich with that crappy sausage patty because somebody somewhere sometime had a good idea and made a sausage patty or made, it's simple, it's trash, it's absolute shit.
It's not good for you at all.
No, but because somebody thought about it, they made something amazing. That's it. That's it. That's the thesis.
Yeah, where would we be without the fundamentals, without the baseline, without the foundation of anything for anything that needs a structure or has a structure? If you don't have the basis of it, then it's not gonna work.
Effort and context.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I personally like to put some honey on my McMuffins and stuff like that. So
the McDonald's honey is also wild. That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
There's something weird about it. Some people put the jelly on the McMuffin too. I don't know. Kelly likes to put the honey on the chicken McGriddle.
Oh yeah, man. Oh, that sounds so good. It's not good for you at all. Oh my god. Because,
not good at all.
Because I'm a big fan of chicken and waffles, right? My step family is from Michigan, but my step grandpa is like from Kentucky. So kind of having those two different but similar tastes meshed together in one household. Like, it's thanks to my step grandpa that I got introduced to the friggin' chicken and waffles, and I absolutely love it. And like syrup, honey, doesn't matter. Fried chicken with any of those condiments, I'm there, man. I'm there.
Yeah, I think I at one point would have said I loved chicken and waffles, but I think the truth is that I just love fried chicken like so much that I don't care what it comes with. I love fried chicken.
Yeah, man. So we were just talking about your career a bit. Let's get into it. So what sparked your initial interest in, and of course, video games? Now that's a broad question, but the second part of it,
my interest in video games is look at them, they're cool.
Yeah, man, they are.
That's it.
And how did you manage to evolve that into a career in talking and writing about video games?
I love that you made it sound so nuanced by using the word evolve, but I'm going to tell you right now that is not what occurred. This is a real true fact. There's a man named Vito Giswaldi.
Love it.
And he was doing he's from Boston. He's a cool guy, sort of. And he was doing a stand-up showcase at the theater where I did comedy, and I happened to watch it. And I was chilling out in the patio after the show, and he came up to me and he said, "You're a funny guy, right?" And I was like, "Sure." And he was like, "You like video games, right? I think I've seen you talking about them before." And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And he was like, "I work for this website in Florida called GameZone.com." And I was like, "Okay." And he was like, "Make some listicles." And then I just started kind of taking assignments from that website that made me like $15 for every article. Like just sometimes they'd send me a free game, but like 15
Like top
bucks an
10s
article.
and shit.
What's that?
Like top 10s and shit.
Top 10s or like simple reviews of games that are like cell phone games or like a game for DS. I remember I reviewed like the Transformers cartoon DS game.
Oh, fuck yeah, animated? I recently like played. Oh my god, it's sorry.
It's not a bad game.
No,
It's not a bad game.
I liked it. Like it was a game that I had growing up, right? And I lost it. Actually, I got to like the first time tangent, right? I got to the first time where you fight Megatron, and as a kid, I'm an idiot, of course. I was like 9, and I couldn't figure out what to do, so I was like mashing the buttons so much that the button inputs no longer like correlated to what they were supposed to do. So if I press A for like attack, I would jump for some reason. If I like press left,
you like twisted the game out of its own
the
world.
game and not the DS itself. Weird.
Yeah.
But recently, like a year ago, I was like getting a lot of the games that I had as a kid back, and I managed to like play through that, and I'm like happy to say that now I've had the voice of that Optimus Prime on the show as a guest, David K. So like full circle moment right there. So thank you for bringing that up for whatever reason.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, I did review that game.
That's awesome.
So I was doing that, and then I started writing for this website, Indie Static, which was like another like kind of like, I would say it was cooler. It was like a little bit more like the devs liked it. Like it had like cred. You know what I mean? Like we could like get interviews with the devs because they wanted, we were like similar people to them.
Yeah.
And that was a cool website. And then I think the boss got in trouble or something. We had to shut down. But around that time, I did a show with the Completionist called DLC. That was like a podcast. And I was brought on as like the third host of the podcast because I was like a quote unquote journalist. But really, like, I just knew, I just tangentially knew them, and they knew that I was like kind of a comedian and kind of a journalist and kind of maybe was a little bit better on mic than a lot of people who do YouTubing. Weirdly,
yeah, man.
Like you'd think that being good on the fly is like part of being an influencer or a YouTuber, but actually like couldn't be farther from the truth. And I think just in general, my job has become my career was very much like influenced by the fact that I have thousands of hours of live performance experience.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so comfortable that I don't know. I think some people struggle with this part of it, and I think that I'm completely relaxed right now. But yeah, from that point, I've been like the funny guy on many shows. And that has been my job.
Yeah.
And yeah. And from there, you know, you make friends. Like I wrote a game that came out on the Switch called Wonderling.
Yeah,
that was really great.
I've been playing that this week in prep for this episode. Man, it's tight, dude.
I had nothing to do with any sort of like game design.
Oh, I know.
I just wrote the story, but
it's hilarious.
But that's what I'm just saying that because I was going to compliment them and just say, like, that game fucking actually is so good.
Yeah.
Like I'm not complimenting my own work in any way.
Hashtag not an ad.
The story at best is like a fun window dressing to like some seriously good platforming mechanics.
Yeah.
But I'm proud that the story, the game that I wrote happens to be fucking great. And they're actually making Gimmick too. Like a lot of the same people are putting out the sequel to Mr. Gimmick.
Really?
Like a brand new sequel to it. They just announced it. So
cool.
Yeah, check that out.
Sick, man. Yeah. Yeah, I've been playing that.
I did not have anything to do with the creation of Gimmick 2. I wish I did, but I did not.
Gotcha. Yeah, I've been playing Wonderling I bought it when it first came out, but like backlog, right? And then in prep for talking to you, I've been playing and it's great. You did a phenomenal job with the writing.
Be honest, is it hard as fuck?
Yes. After a while, I'm like initially beating the level. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
But I will get more into this later, but being a completionist myself, I'm like, I want to get all the shit. So therefore, there's the puzzle elements, mechanics that goes into it, and that's hard.
There is rewards.
Yes.
For that. At
Yes.
least. There's nice rewards for that at the very least.
And I love it. Yeah, I love. Thanks so much for telling the origins of how you got here. I'm also in a similar boat, I guess. I mean, I graduated with a degree in journalism, right? So technically, I'm a journalist.
Oh, yeah, I did go to college for 7 years, but I did not graduate. I just majored. I got enough credits for like several majors, but
Gotcha.
I did not graduate.
You're like, you did the work, but you're like, I'm okay with the paper. It's all right.
I finished a minor and then I didn't finish my main.
Gotcha.
It doesn't. Yeah, I was there for a very long time and then I was a YouTuber, so I just stopped going.
Yeah, man. Getting a bachelor's in journalism and starting to work as an audio engineer and producer at a radio station, I didn't really use that degree, but I recently had Amanda Van Hale on the show who works at Zelda Universe. And during that time, Zelda Universe was also looking for more list writers. So I asked her about it like while we were talking, and she was like, yeah, man, apply. You know, you have like the qualifications, air quotes, for it, and tell them you talked to me. And I'm like, okay, cool. And now I've been a list writer for Zelda Universe for the past couple of months, and it's been a blast, you know, like just talking about your favorite video game, dude. That's like, and yeah, I'm not getting paid, it's all volunteer, but still like being able to stretch that part of like
As
the thing I've
long
been
as you're
taught,
having
you know?
fun, and as long as you're having fun, and somebody's not getting free labor, I feel
Exactly.
great about whatever. Yeah.
Exactly. It's great to have it on the resume. It's just great to talk about my favorite video games. So, yeah. How did you get started as a writer? How did you know you wanted to be a writer of any kind? Is it just like this guy so happened to just be like, hey, you're funny, right? You want to do this thing? Or was there more into it, like you wanted to be a writer?
Like, I always wanted to be a writer. Like, I was like a big reader from when I was a young kid. I even learned English like really early compared to most people. Like, I was like unable to walk, and I was like already speaking in full sentences in like a pretty strange way sometimes. So for whatever reason, like words just have always been important to me. I can devour a book like within a day or two, like any book. Like back when I was an English major in college, like you'd have to read like 5 books a week. It just was crazy, and like write about them and stuff. And so over time, if you just care about that type of thing and you find that sort of indescribableness that motivates you to create with words, which I feel like not that many people get these days compared to a lot of the other ones. Like I feel like there's a lot of visual artist romance still going around. Like people really want to be good at drawing, or people really want to be good at singing. I don't think anybody gives a care about writing, and like probably is glad that like robots are just here to take over. But like, I don't know, like for me, the thing that I like about it is getting to be very specific and getting to be exactly evocative of the exact thing that you want. Or at least as much as you can. And I think like the fact that there isn't a final image, that it's just words, and that it happens in everybody's heads the same is kind of cool.
Yeah, understood.
And I just think it's the most powerful form for that reason, because it, like, I really like comic books too, as you can see.
Yeah.
If you can, I really like comic books too. I have a big collection of comic books that I've been reading them ever since I was a kid. But like the comic book is fun because of like the fun stuff that it does, where it like almost lets you imagine it by giving you like aids by like sick artists to like help you imagine the right cool things, because maybe I can't think of the sickest fight sequence the way that like Joe Quesada can. But like writing, it's just me and you. So like if you read my work, you're reading only the thing that I wrote, and it's just you and me doing a little improvised. Like we're like thinking about it together once. So to me, that's the fun of writing.
Understood. When writing about or creating content for video games, what is your creative process like?
Okay, so definitely like different depending, but like I'm very like goal oriented, like because I think like when I first started doing a lot of projects, when I was first working in LA, I moved here in like 2010. So long time ago now, but I was kind of like doing this type of stuff, but it wasn't like something that would pay all the bills. I had many different jobs. And one of them is that I was working a lot as a designer, and I still do that from time to time, like moonlighting, like just sort of like consulting with brands on big things. Like
Gotcha.
I worked with like this a series of movies that's like still coming out I worked with a bunch of different board games. Like over COVID, we like redesigned a bunch of the vibes of a bunch of like big board games for a bunch of big board game companies and stuff like that. And so I think my process is very like experience focused. Like I'm imagining what I want it to be like for you.
Yeah.
And so when I write content about games, like I think I'm always trying to elicit a specific thing from you. Like personal stuff, personal stories, like sometimes they come in and they are valuable, I think, when you write. But like for me, like right now, for example, like my current project that I'm working on, I'm trying to do maybe like my own channel, right? Like I'm old, but I think that the reason that I want to do the channel is because I have something to say about writing, about video games, more than I have anything specific to say about video games. Like I don't really think that I'm this great voice of video game criticism necessarily. Like I don't believe that. You know what I mean? Like I don't sit around thinking about that.
Yeah.
I do think about video game criticism as a whole, right? And I do think about like what we're saying about video games and how we're talking about them and how we're contextualizing them and stuff like that. And I think like the in general sort of like the pickings are slim. You know, like I think in general, like if you're looking at like subject matter, right? Like if you're looking at, say, the American like expatriate like modern English writers who were all in Paris in the 1920s, right? If you're looking at that scene, the level of thinking and writing going on about those things is like very high. It's like very like heady stuff that's being talked about by those things. Number one, it's been done to death now because it's 100 years ago, right? Like that was happening in the 1920s. It's the 2020s now. So there's been a lot of time to think about it, a lot of time to talk about it. And the people that are talking about it now really have interesting things to say and are really thinking about this shit in a deep, deep way. But right now with video games, I really do appreciate, like, first of all, I don't have a lot of interest right now in writing like current video game reviews because there's just too much noise and the hype machine is very bad, I think, around it.
There's just so many games coming out every like week or month too. Yeah.
And I think that for me right now, I think that the more we can get video games to feel like record releases, the better.
Oh,
like I think that how much thinking people do about records is like a good amount of thinking to do before you review a video game. Like maybe you listen to it a couple times. You know, I don't think you need to beat a video game to review it. I think that in general, there's always going to be people out there that are like kind of like trying to give the pragmatic review, the review that's no nonsense, you know, like the review that's going to like people just want to know if they need to buy the game. And I'm the perfect filter to tell them, you know, like I think all that's stupid and blowhard and like kind of a little bit thoughtless and cocky and childish and silly. And the fact that people want that is very much about the insecurity of the audience more than it is about like what good writing about video games is.
Right.
And for me personally, like I've been working on a new style of writing game reviews, just like how do I write a game review, right? And in my mind, it should take 2 or 3, maybe 5 minutes to read it. It should not be comprehensive.
Right.
It should be like totally one thing that you're trying to say about the game, and it should usually be a personal thing. It should usually include some sort of personal input. And so for me, that's where I'm at right now in my head. Like writing a video game, very different situation. I was aiming for the tone of a 90s video game with some depth and some mystery, making it look exciting, right? Wonderling is like a Sega Genesis platformer from Europe, basically. It's like where my head is at about it. Like a PAL exclusive Sega Genesis game was what I was trying to write. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%.
So like the sentence structure was definitely written by a native English speaker, which is like novel for that type of game, right? Like the fact that it's so adroitly written in English is not normally how those types of games are. They usually have some sort of when they translate from Japanese to PAL, they don't really think about the translation too much. Back in the 90s or whenever this was allegedly imaginarily happening, right? And so I'm just thinking about that. I want it to feel like that. I want it to have that little bit of jank, that like layer of simplicity. Any big writing or plot is going to happen off the action. Like, I don't know how far you've played into Wonderling, but if you get all the flowers and you get all the things from like one world, you get a page of the cow's diary. Well, it's not the cow's diary, but you'll see. And you get a page of like full plot that's like written, right? And so those things kind of all inform each other because I, as a video game individual, right, have the context of playing a bunch of games like that, probably because of my job or just because I'm a hobbyist in that way, and I'm like a fucking junkie of FPGA like emulation. Like, I'm just playing stuff all the time, but you know, taking the context and applying it in a very specific way to get a very evocative personal result is, to me, the only way to write. And I don't think that's unique to video games, but just to use some video games as an example, that was one. Like, I was talking about, I wrote one about Piquera. You know that game?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
It's like, just for the audience, it's like a little bird that is like, he can shoot at an angle. It's a very simple kind of like one screen arcade game that's in the WarioWare series. It's really great. One of my favorite games. And I did a review of it, and I was talking about how I played it while I was in Hawaii with my family on vacation when I was young. And portable games are weird because you can like teleport, because you like play the game while you're moving and you like look up and you're somewhere else. It's like kind of weird. And so like I started playing the game in like a hotel, like a fantastic hotel, like a beautiful, like human built hotel. And when I looked up from the game a little bit later, I was playing Piquera the whole time. When I looked up from it, I was in like the jungles of Hawaii in Maui. It's like beautiful and like different. And it made me think about how progress is and whether it's progress. Like, is humanity better than nature, you know, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then in Piquera, if you actually like pay attention to the game, as your score goes up, not only does the score go up, but like the civilization in the background evolves from like simple structures to like metropolis to big city to whatever. And so you actually see the progress of man in Piquera.
Yeah.
And it's like backwards in real life, because I was going from like a hotel that was like, you know, colonial in the island, and in Piquera I was playing the other way. And the yellow Piquera has one set of rules and the red Piquera has one set of rules. And I was thinking about if they mean two ways of living your life, how you progress. I don't know, right? It's heady. It doesn't make that much sense. It's not useful to whether or not you're going to buy Piquera, but it does act like Piquera exists out there for you to play if you want, and kind of gives you an honest human, you know, interaction with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something that is going to be maybe really meaningful to someone.
Yeah.
Maybe completely cringeworthy or whatever to somebody else. And I think like the reason that people don't do that is because it doesn't get as many views.
Right.
Because you used to have to read the stuff that people wrote because it was the only stuff. And now you don't have to. You can read, you know, you can read a review by the person who feels exactly the same way about the MCU that you do. You know, and you don't have to ever hear the opinion of somebody who feels a different way. And I think, you know, just keeping that in mind and keeping the context in mind and trying to evoke something personal and specific and quick. Yeah. You know, like we're talking about Jiro Dreams of Sushi. We're talking about perfect 2.5 minute pop songs. We're talking about all kinds of stuff. Yeah. But I think it's all the same thing we're talking about. I did a review of Halo Infinite, comparing it to Spider-Man for PS5 and music, pop songs, and versus Like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan, and how I like how Spider-Man and Halo both like have a lot to do, and you can like complete it in an open world way, but it's like done in like 2 days. Like you could do it in like 12 hours. Yeah. And how much more meaningful everything feels, and how accomplished I feel completing a game that manageable versus a game like, you know, The Witcher or something like that. Like, not that The Witcher is necessarily a worse game.
But it takes you like forever to like make a good chunk of progress for that 100% completion.
It just starts to feel meaningless. It's like when somebody's like at a party and everybody's having a good time playing music together, and then somebody just like solos for like 14 minutes and bums everyone out.
Like, all right, man,
I'm gonna go get some tacos. I'll see you. Yeah.
No, I totally love that. I completely agree that the personalization of getting to know what's the reason of clicking on a review for a thing you want to listen to, watch, play, right? It's to whether or not figure out if you're also going to enjoy that. Okay, great. These
it's probably actually, honestly, probably like a deceptively specific reason.
Yeah.
Actually, like if I had to guess, like me personally, at least when I'm looking for something like a game review, right?
Yeah.
Like recently, I went deep looking at. I was trying to find a way to play Radiant Silvergun.
Okay.
That was worthy of play, and so I started to look at all these reviews, and I was looking very specifically for like this one is like really good, feels like the arcade or whatever, but everybody wants to talk about delay, or everybody has all these different things they want to talk about.
Yeah.
And I think eventually you find the one if you're really good. Like there's a couple people out there who I think I really always like their stuff. Electric Underground, SNES Drunk.
Mm-hmm.
There are people out there writing reviews and doing thoughtful reviews about stuff that sometimes I'm like, oh my God, yes, like somebody to connect to it.
Yeah.
Right. And like you're saying, like, why does somebody click on it? It's because they want to know if they should get it. But really, like, there's probably some little kinky reason built in. Like, I don't want to say, specifically sexy kinky, but like,
yeah.
like a little bit more fetishy of a reason why you're looking for a specific review, especially if it's from a game that didn't come out this week. Like if you're going back and checking a review of a game from 10 years ago, is it really beneficial to have this like very crowd pleasing, like sort of formulaic, generic review that grades on a scale? Like, don't you want to know what somebody was thinking about the game back then?
Yeah, I've been replaying Super Metroid for the past week because we're gonna get ready to do an episode on it, and I've been playing it myself. My co-hosts haven't played it or know nothing about Metroid at all. So to help them, I like sent them a bunch of videos of like these people say, what I think you guys should know about the series. Like, of course I sent the completionist episodes on Super Metroid and stuff like that, but like also other people not only breaking down structurally what makes this game good, but also other videos of like why is this impactful to like the video game industry and to the individual themselves,
Yeah. Hold on one second.
Yeah.
Hey, come over here. Stop that. Come here.
Love pet cameos.
This guy's still working. He's still raw. You're all right. You're all right. Keep it together, pups. You're okay. Yeah, that's good. Good boy. He's new.
Yeah. Yeah, no, gotta love pet cameos. No problem.
Sorry, what were you saying? My bad.
No, it's okay. I sent these videos to my co-hosts about like, different reasons why people like Super Metroid, but like I think the most important parts of it is like, what does this game, this thing mean to the person that's talking about it, and why should we care? Because, a lot of people can have stories of like a game, a show, a movie that they've watched during a specific time in their lives that like really helped them get through a difficult process. I mean, we all have those types of stories, but like I absolutely value those types of interactions or those type of reviews that these content creators are making, and like I'm sure they're pouring their hearts out because of this game. Like there's extra value in that, and when I look for reviews for games, or like should I buy this, should I not, I don't really care of like, does this game play well? Does this game run well on this console? What's the frame? Like, I don't give a shit about that stuff. Is it fun? Am I gonna have a good time? Because did you have a good time? How do you? Alternatively, I don't even care about whether it's fun. Like, I like, it would be great. It would be great if what they said sounded like fun to me. Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like, somebody telling me that it's fun kind of makes me want to punch him in the face. But like. Alternatively, like for your friend or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like if you're going to send them a packet of videos or whatever, and I'm not trying to, just take whatever version of this is your version of this. This is just my.
Yeah, you're not trying to yuck my yums. I get it.
Yeah. But here's what I would say is like, alternatively, just more to what the point that I'm trying to make about what we need before we write a video game review or whatever. Like, Super Metroid came out in 1994. Something like that.
94, 97, something like that.
Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Right. So probably, what do we think? 20-inch screen, probably somewhere in there. Max, right? Like for the most part. Obviously, technically, some people have bigger screens, but if we do a generic poll of 200 million people or however many people there were back then in America or in the world playing video games, most people are playing on a 20-inch TV, right? In their living room, maybe at a desk, but like likely the most similar thing we can think of today is like playing a PlayStation.
Yeah.
In our living room in front of our main TV. So here's how I recommend playing Super Metroid and how you get the appropriate context for Super Metroid. Rather than watching a bunch of reviews, turn the volume up to like 30, like a nice, good, I don't know what your TV is, but that would be like, oh, we're listening to the music today. Like turn it up.
Yeah.
Turn the game on. And now this is the part that's going to be different for everybody. For me, smoke some weed, okay? Get yourself in that comfy zone where you're ready to think and have a good time. And just let it hit you on its own. Like if you're a person who's seen movies before,
Yeah.
or you watch a lot of movies, you might think of Alien. You might think of, horror, because honestly, Super Metroid is quite an adult video game. Like it seems childish now because most people are working backwards from Smash Brothers and how fun it is to play as Samus, in my opinion. But I think like in context, without any other Metroid context, you don't need to know the story before. Nope. It's not made for that. Like it's nice that it's there if you care about that stuff, that you can kind of draw the lines between the different games, but I don't care if Super Metroid and Metroid Dread take place in the same universe, even though they do. Like, it's the ambiance. And I think, honestly, Metroid Dread actually really kind of nailed that perfectly. But just, to my point, it's like the context, you can just perfectly contextualize somebody by giving them the game in the purest form. Like, how did you play it?
I first played Super Metroid on the Virtual Console for the Wii U.
On the TV, like
on the TV. Oh yeah.
Did you feel like it was a AAA game? Like
100%.
I feel like nowadays it feels like a Game Boy game. I feel like nowadays it feels like a game that you would play on your calculator,
right?
A little bit.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Some people, but I think putting it in that context.
Yeah, 100%.
And then just writing what you thought of that and what it reminded you of and how it felt to play it is all that I'm interested in. Like,
exactly.
I don't need somebody to show me a list of all the other games they know about. I don't need anybody to like tell me the plot. Like the other thing that people do a lot these days is just copy shit down that they already saw written down. And I know why you're doing it, people out there. I know why you're doing it. I know that you're trying to fill time because your video has to be an hour for anybody to watch it on YouTube minimum. Now I know now, looking at you, Tim Rogers, I'm so sorry to see that you're having to create 12-hour long, like Pinchonian novels of video game discourse to get anybody to take it seriously. I'm really genuinely so sorry about that, but it's worse. It's worse to do it that way. It's worse. I actually think it's actually stupid. Unless you're making a medical device or something like that, or a piece of nutrition or something like that, I think it's actually dumb to try and make stuff for everyone. And yet, that is what the computer wants us to do.
Yeah. To move forward with the conversation and with the questions I have, you've been I would say a significant part of the gaming community for years. Can you tell us
to a small sector of individuals? Let's say, a major part. I don't know about that. A major. I wrote one game for the Nintendo Switch that was released independently from Sweden.
Well, not just like video games, but like video game community, right?
Sure.
Can you tell us about your journey into how Beard Bros and the decks came to be?
Oh, sure. Like a little bit. There's really not that much to it. Like, okay. I literally, I basically told you the most of it. Like, I was on that show, The Completionist, and it was like a podcast format. And so it was kind of just, it happened not that often, like it was like, we had a lot of work to do every week, work on The Completionist, which is a show where we beat the game 100% and then write and make like a 45-minute episode about the damn game every time. Because again, you have to make the computer like you. But even though, really making videos like that is like a jail sentence in a way. And so we'd hang out and do that, and the podcast was kind of low priority, and I just ended up sort of helping out with stuff, and like I ended up like in a couple episodes doing bits.
Yeah.
Because I'm, like I said, I'm just like a funnier, like I have chops compared to a lot of people in YouTube. And I don't know, like from there, like I was around more. And just because we had the rapport, I was like, well, first I wanted to start my own show. And I was thinking about doing a Pokemon show with Kelly because Kelly was my girlfriend at the time, still is my girlfriend. We're about to get married in a month.
Yeah. Congratulations,
And,
man.
Yeah, thanks. We've been engaged for 5 years.
I know. Yeah.
But yeah, we're about to get married. But at the time we were I wanted to make a Pokemon show and have her be my co-host. And Gerard suggested that we sort of like, Gerard is the completionist, by the way. He suggested that we, me and him do a show together to like put me in the like MCU a little bit.
Like Daredevil.
Yeah, but because it's so easy to make and because I was there to be like another person producing it for a long time, it was a lot easier to run. And it became, it's like a well-oiled machine at this point. Like Beard Bros just kind of comes out. And so it was more of a thing than we thought it was going to be. We thought it was going to be like a once-in-a-while thing that happened. And then I do the decks and that'll be it. But it kind of became like an all-encompassing thing. And it kind of was like a little bit of like a fam jam for a while when we were all working out of Gerard's house and my house, kind of like doing like underwear vibes. Just because it was like 100 degrees in the summer in Los Angeles and there's no air conditioning. Actually, that's not true. Gerard's family is very nice, has like a very nice house, and he was doing really, like his shit was very swanky. But in my home, which I still live in, it's like a hallway in Bilbo Baggins's house. It's small in here. This is like actually like live on the set of LA Noire. Like this is an old apartment from LA. This is old shit.
Right.
So it's hot. And all that stuff. And then the decks was like a big hit. And for a while there, we were like the biggest Pokemon thing, which was cool. Back in a simpler time. And I ended up like really branching out when Matt Pat came a-calling. He needed help with the follow-up to his Chuck E. Cheese mystery on Five Nights at Freddy's. And I just pitched him. I was like, hey, let me try it. I've been like obsessing over this Five Nights at Freddy's thing because I love ARGs. I've always been a big puzzle solver and stuff. Even when I was like in high school and college, I got into the like Cloverfield, like Slusho campaign and I Love Bees for Halo 2 and the AI, the movie ARG. Classic, serious like puzzles and public events and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was into all that and I got into the Five Nights at Freddy's thing. I wrote a bunch of game theories and that was like a big like, number one, it led to like collabs on like the Completionist and on the decks, and we did collabs with the game theory, and it grew our channel to like the Grinch's heart 3 sizes, like instantly. It was just the Wild West back then. It was just crazy. Like we were doing 30,000, and then we were doing 100,000, and then we started doing like 140,000 views of video, which is just our channel was so healthy compared to how channels are at all now, and it was so much easier back then. But yeah, we did all that, and from there, like. I met Jesse and Davis because through Maker, because we were all at Maker and we'd like just go to parties and they kind of like became the boys, and we just hang out because we just liked each other and started making stuff together. And I've just been doing that. It's just been a whirlwind of tan blur and faint whiskey taste and smoke smell and like pork fat, and it's just been I don't know. I think I'm 24 years old, but I'm actually 36.
Yeah. Well, I think I want to take this time to gush a little bit and like thank you for the past 14 years or something like that. I don't even know how long it's been at this point, but
a long time.
A long time.
A time longer than you were alive before. We're past the halfway point of your life in how long I've been around with you.
Exactly. So I've liked video games for a long time, ever since growing up. My first system was the Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness Special Edition GameCube, whatever the and I've liked games, but I was never like fully into it. Never call myself a gamer or whatever, right? And
that just makes me feel so old. Pokemon XD,
no,
your first thing,
yeah.
I was like a few years old when I started the decks.
Yeah.
Never mind. Go on. Sorry.
No, it's okay. And I got to middle school, and I would watch YouTube videos of whatever, you know. There wasn't like a specific thing that I was like looking for or whatever, and I came across Nate Wants to Battle's channel because FNAF was like happening and stuff like that, and like he was more accurately, like he was doing a let's play on Hyrule Warriors. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know of Zelda. I played the 25 years edition of Four Swords on my DS and stuff like that, you know? Like everybody had that, right?
It can't have been 25 years.
25.
Oh, 25 years since the beginning of Zelda.
Yes. 25-year
Okay,
anniversary.
yeah.
That's
I was
why.
like, Jesus Christ, help me out.
So I was like familiar with Zelda, and I'm like, okay, let me see what this is about. And you know, I fell in love with Nate Wants to Battle. He's like one of my favorite YouTubers up until that point, and of course still now. Well, if he was making YouTube, you know what I mean. He's great, and
He's still on the list.
yeah, and
I like Nate.
yeah, he's great. He's a tight boy. And so I was watching his Let's Play on Hyrule Warriors, and that got me into The Legend of Zelda because it's like, you know, a big MCU thing of like, oh, everybody's here or whatever, and therefore Zelda's like my #1 favorite thing. But anyways,
It had to be around the time that the book came out too, right? The Hyrule Historia. I remember when that came out.
Oh, probably, yeah.
I kind of like unified. It's like unified Zelda theory.
Yeah, the timeline and all that stuff. God. And so I remember this one morning specifically. I was watching his video, and it was like the episode where you get to play as Sheik now, and he was so hyped about playing Sheik or whatever. And I'm like, cool. I finished the episode, and it was like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. I was getting ready to go to school and stuff like that, almost about to go to the bus stop. And I see on the suggested thing on YouTube, the decks, and you guys were doing an episode on a Pokemon or whatever that I thought was cool. So I checked that out.
Ancient history.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
And I was like, oh my God, I love this. It's not only like trivia, but it's like battle strats too, because I also like Pokemon. And, you know, I've been playing Pokemon since, you know, XD, Soul Silver, and all that stuff. So cool. I love this.
XD, man.
I know. So I started just going down a rabbit hole of the decks. You know, I was watching everything about it. And, you know, after a certain point, I've, of course, found Chugga Conroy, which I'm very happy to say that he was also a guest on the show, and we got to geek out about Xenoblade. It was like the best thing ever. So not only did I find Chugga Conroy, who was very instrumental to like me and like what I like, but, you know, got to see the completionist, and then found Beard Bros, and like finding the decks, finding you and Kells really opened up everything about like the video game world or whatever for me, and like it really helped me get every finger into every multiple pies for like gaming stuff, and like it really helped me solidify who I am, and who I am is I'm a geek. You know, I am a gamer. I like nerd shit. I like video games, and it's mainly because of you. And, you know, before we even started recording, you were like, I'm just a dude, man. I just took a shit. Like, I'm vibing here. And I'm like, yeah, I know you are, and I appreciate that, and I always love that about you. But I do just want to like express like how much you've actually changed my life, or made my life be for the better or whatever, made me who I am in some way, big way, small way, doesn't matter. There was you were in the middle of all that. I'm a big fan of the completionist. I'm a big fan of Gerard. I consider myself a completionist. I called myself online the mini completionist for the longest time until Jock told me like, hey, you got to change that name, you know, like because I did a stupid school project of like talking about Gerard and stuff, and I sent it over to the completionist email about it, like, hey, I'm fanboying over you, and Jock was like very nice and chill about it, like, hey, thank you, but like change the name from Mini Completion to something else, or else people will think we're collaborating or whatever. I'm like, no, okay, I get it. So I changed it to like the 100% or whatever the
Classic.
Yeah. And to like fast forward, you know, to 2020 during the pandemic. And of course, I've been a fan of the Beer Bros, watching you guys every day for, you know, ever since, right? For years. And during the pandemic, you were doing more streams, right? And on Twitch and stuff, because of course, you know, doing whatever you got to do to bypass time. Yeah. It's easier. And this is also the time where this show started. We started in February of 2020, and watching
The official first Razzle Dazzle time, like the first time that it
Yeah.
was actually Razzle Dazzle time.
Yeah, February 2020, February 10th, 2020. And, you know,
It's a lot of 2s and 10s and like mathematically very pleasing date.
thank you.
You say no.
Yeah. And so watching your streams, we were already like a few episodes in. We were terrible at the beginning because, you know, we were still figuring shit out, right?
Everybody
Like,
is.
whatever.
Yeah. There's an episode of the Dex that's never come out that's like just awful. I used to show it at conventions. And we did it sitting on the corner of my bed, and there was like unlicensed fan art of like Charmander with a do-rag and a knife in the background.
Love that. But watching your streams, you know, I'm already familiar with who you are and stuff like that. I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch, like, because of course I am. But there were a lot of things you were talking about of, you know, like just your vibe I love, and like it kind of influenced me on like how I live life too, because, you know, you kept saying in your streams like, you know, good vibes only, man. Like we're here for a good time, and, you know, let's just be happy and do our thing, man. And I really took that to heart ever since, you know, because whatever trials and tribulations I've gone through up until that point, I'm like, yeah, you know, okay, I'm trying to deal with it. I'm a stupid high schooler. I don't know how to handle my emotions or whatever the so
Very, very honest.
yeah. So yeah, I'm trying. I want to be as open and transparent with you because of how much you mean to me, or how much everything about you has influenced me. You know, you're an important pillar in my life.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
The messages and things you were exuding, just you being you naturally, not trying to be anybody else, not trying to be this different persona or whatever.
That's exactly it. That's exactly
Yeah,
right. Like,
you're just being you, and I absolutely love that about you, and of course the rest of the Beard Bros and Gerard and all that stuff. You know, that's something I love, and like I try to make sure every day that I'm keeping true to that as well. So
yeah.
on top of that, not only did you know, I'm not gonna say you saved me through the pandemic because I was doing okay, but like I was going through a rough time, and like your good vibes were helping me and changing my mentality on things that helped me through life, period. Not just the pandemic, I'm just saying life. And on top of that, how I like run this show that's been going on for almost 5 years now, you know, like it's helped me tremendously seeing you just be you and like just doing your thing, seeing how Beard Bros does their thing, seeing how Gerard does his thing, you know, like all that stuff, production wise, audio wise, like every little thing I take to heart, and like I try to set that up as an example, and even to like the little details of like, you know, you were playing Cat System Core on your streams for background music. I have gotten the privilege of talking to the guy, talking to Cat System Core, and he allows us to use his music for the show as background, as our intro and outro music. And hell, I'm gonna be having him on as a guest soon. He agreed to be a guest on the show, so I'm like, this is cool. Awesome, you know. So like,
tell him I said what's up, and I think that he makes good sounds.
I will. So trying to refocus on my Gush Fest. Thank you.
Well, here's what I'll say.
Yeah,
I appreciate you. I appreciate you saying that. I'm honored that people out, like, you know, I'm honored that there's people out there who are picking up what I'm putting down in that way. But I also just want to say, just so that we stay right on topic, that it just goes to show, right? Like, I'm not saying that I bring my 100% self onto the mic every time, right?
Right.
Like, I think that I am honest here. I think I'm somebody that I am and agree with here. But I think that the reason that I'm able to feel that is because I'm being authentic in the microphone, and I have a viewpoint, and I'm bringing my viewpoint, and I'm not letting it, the fact that people love to give me notes, or people love to like passive aggressively like lash their subconscious against me with like the questions that they sometimes ask me, or the way that the algorithm tries to browbeat you into being more appealing to general people. Like I remember Mr. Beast said something like he doesn't want to look like he's enjoying himself too much, or that he's having too much fun, or smile too much, because some people are turned off by that or something like that. Just some fucking crazy robot comment like that, right?
Okay.
And it's really fucked up. But the reason that I was able to take, you know, a point of view eventually that you could like latch onto and see and like understand and like try and do your own version of is because I had people like that before me who did that, like in music and in other stuff, and like even just personally, like in terms of like laid back video games journalists having a good time. Shout outs to Talk Radar, the Games Radar podcast from like before you were online as a human being. They still exist. Video Game Apocalypse. They still exist today. Laser Time Network. They're still around. Talking Simpsons, I think, is part of that or is related. It's those hosts, all those people. They're still around too. And I went on to be on their shows, and I had this same conversation with them, literally.
Yeah.
And the reason that you latched on is because I had a specific thing, and it's not going to be every single person that's going to latch onto you that way and is going to go all the way. And I don't think that necessarily that there's something like particularly amazing about what I'm doing that like I deserve people to get really
praise
into
you
it
or whatever.
Yeah, but I just think that by being earnest, like by being a version of yourself, being vulnerable, bringing yourself with you to the front, and being willing to fail in the eyes of many, which you will, no matter what. Like, I mean, I bring my politics to the microphone. I bring my opinions. I speak very confidently about them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, all stuff that a lot of people do not do. And I even watch people get uncomfortable in real time around me all the time as they start to think about PR. You know what I mean? And I just think that being that way and being deeply unsatisfying to a lot of people is what makes you deeply, deeply satisfying to a smaller amount of people. And sometimes that group of people can be amazing, like one time I found out that like a crazy famous filmmaker listens to my podcast.
Cool.
Like I don't want to out them, but like it was really cool to find that out. And it's just because they are interested in the thing that my podcast is about and they happen to find it, right? Like that's cool. And so there's all sorts of opportunities out there. You don't need to think about appealing to everybody. That's my point, is that like everybody makes it sort of like bad to do networking. Like, oh, you just got this job because you knew this guy. And it's like, yeah, I did. And then he saw my shit and then I got a job. Like, that's it. That's how it works. Like, it's not fair. It's not a real, it's not a game. It's not like, there's not like rules. It's about finding people that are genuinely good and trying to like not destroy them and not annoy them, but rise to meet them and act like you're part of the thing that you've been studying and bring the next generation of the thing that you like. All the people that are angry about the way that things are going, and usually, and I know it sounds like I'm talking about politics, but actually more what I'm talking about is like your fucking whatever stupid franchise you love the most, whatever thing you're pissed about, what Zelda, the new one with no sword, or
Star Wars.
Star Wars is just so shitty right now, or comics are so gay and woke that it's so boring now, or whatever the hell stupid ass opinion that you have that is like you're like victimizing yourself over, right? Like, shut up and learn the context, learn how to do it, and do it yourself. Yeah. And I guarantee that your opinion's going to change. You're not going to go in with a goal and then like change your feelings to meet your goal. That's not natural. Like I didn't develop my opinion on video games by reading a how-to guide. I just played a bunch of video games. You know what I mean? Yeah. I didn't get good at making videos by going to video school and learning how to make a perfect video from day one. I made my shitty Charmander do-rag bed sitting video that never came out, and it helped me in my process. You know what I mean? Yeah. And that is the real way to do it. There's not a substitute for it. Yeah. Even in the world of AI, even in the world of whatever, yes, there are people who look like cartoon versions of your job that are famous, and they're going to make more money than you. And it's not fair, and it's stupid. But the people that like them are not the people that you want to like you. They're not the people. They're just like smooth-brained people. They don't have takes. You're never going to get a nice person to tell you that they love your work when you do algorithmically generated content. It's not going to happen.
Yeah. Like I said, just being authentically you, and, as long as you're okay with taking the necessary risks or whatever to do the thing that you love and that you're happy with, then I think that's all that matters at the end of the day. Like, it doesn't matter who else is listening, or, you know, if you're trying to do this thing and your goal is to, like, I want to be number one, I'm going to make money off of this, but I'm going to be famous. Like, it's not going to work, you know, like that's not, and
or it might, but you're just a sociopath, you know, like,
right. Yeah. And like, are you actually going to be having fun at that point? Probably not, because then it's just going to feel like work, you know, like at a certain point, if the thing you're doing, you know, has to be work, that's fine. But like, you're still having fun doing the thing. You're still being you know, you're not like losing your sense of humanity or whatever the hell, you know, like this show right here, I'm not doing it for any other reason than just to talk to my friends about video games and movies and TVs and shit. And with you being here as a guest and other guests, I just want to learn like what the shit that you like, man. Like, I want to learn more about you and have this same type of like friend level conversation and just talk to you like a normal human being. Like, am I asking you like standard like questions that any other journalist interviewer would ask you? Yes, but I feel like I'm trying to do more than that and just be like, all right, let's talk about a thing. Do you like this thing? Yeah. Okay. Why do you like it? Let's talk about, you know what I mean? Yeah. I'm ranting.
Yeah. No, but that's really it. It's just earnestness.
Yeah.
You know, that's really it. That you're not talking out of your ass. You're just saying the thing that you think. That's true.
Yeah.
That's what you should do. And then when you get good at making those words come out, right, and you smush them down and they go on paper and they sound real good and people read them and they like them, you know, that's success.
Yeah. Well, thank you for allowing me to gush for a minute. I really appreciate, again, to just condense everything I just said into like a few words. Thank you for being you, man. Like, you've made my life for the better, and I really appreciate you and all the things you do, man. Just you as a human being, man. I appreciate you, dude. Yeah,
man. I mean, everybody should be you.
Yeah.
You know?
Be yourself. Yeah, everybody be themselves.
Yeah.
To move on, so you mentioned your other podcasts and stuff. So you have the Chilluminati and the Star Wars Old Canon Book Club podcasts.
Yep.
You already wear so many hats and are part of a lot of different projects. How do you decide which new projects to take on, given your already busy schedule with these multiple podcasts and shows and all this stuff?
So I have like 12 times as many ideas as come out, right? Like my phone, my like notes section on my iPhone is like the apartment from Seven, when they go find like the killer's apartment and there's like fucking writing everywhere on the walls. It's crazy in there, but really it's like I have the idea. I want the idea exactly how it is.
Yeah.
Right? Or at least I want it to excite me. Let's say that.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when it involves other people, you have to like hear them out and kind of like see what you can still get of your cool idea and see what they want from theirs and see if you can find something. And sometimes that becomes even better than the original idea, right? But like, because I'm so discerning about it, because I'm not like, well, I need a Star Wars podcast. Like, I definitely don't, and neither does the world, right? But I had the idea of it would be fun to do Star Wars actually as like a historical thing and like as in order, like kind of looking at the cultural history of Star Wars and talking about it from that point of view, because we don't have to get mad about what they're doing because we already know what's happened and we're looking at it literally in order and we're going to kind of like talk about that. Right?
Yeah.
And so that was just exciting to me as a Star Wars fan because I love Star Wars and, you know, the idea of looking that deeply and meticulously at something like that, like at such a huge body of work, for whatever reason, satisfies my like weird PS2, like 200-hour RPG brain structure, right? And so that's how I wanted to do it. And that's going to happen with Jesse and Davis, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, do you guys want to go get some coffee? And they said, yes. And I said, I have idea. It's going to be like our old idea, but we're going to like do it a little different so that it like can work as a show and come out with some regularity. And we're going to avoid the toxicity that we like landed in last time with the like show about the old Star Wars canon or the new Star Wars canon. And now we're doing a show about the old Star Wars canon, which is new to us and our podcast. Okay, but the point is that I went to them and I said, here's what I want to do exactly. I don't really want to like do anything less than this. So at this rate, with this level of this commitment, and like here's like how it's going to pay for itself, et cetera, et cetera. Do you want to do it? Yes, yes, yes. Then we do it. Then we try it. So it seems like it's hard to choose, but it really isn't choosing, is it? It's just me sort of like pitching stuff that I think can happen. And then when something doesn't happen and I still like it, I hold on to it and I like, maybe we'll come back to it, but some stuff gets old, or I'll come back and I'll like in the middle of the night on the toilet one night, like pull out my phone and like write a new, like 10 new paragraphs to an idea that I had.
I know that feeling.
And so, you know, it's not so much that I like have this great process of choosing. It's just that like, this is the cards aligning and letting me do these things. And, you know, you never know what's going to happen. And, you know, Beard Bros, Chilluminati, Star Wars, they couldn't be more different from each other. Scary Game Squad is also in the mix all the time. Yeah. And it takes me all over the world and it's so strange. But yeah, I definitely don't pick them. I just stay true to the idea and then let the ones that make sense happen.
Understood. Yeah, no, it does. 100%. We may have already touched upon this question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. What has been one of the most challenging moments in your content creation career, and how did you overcome it?
Boy. Well, I think recently, like the fact that, you know, the entire company that I used to work for just kind of like up and closed out of nowhere was pretty crazy and put us all kind of like in a scramble for a little bit there.
Yeah, I still I'm pretty sure, like, don't have to talk about it, of course, and it doesn't have to be in the episode, but like I'm pretty sure, like, I don't think I know about like specifics, and I'm not asking you for any specifics, but like it's weird that it happened. Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but like the challenge wasn't like, oh man, like there was a little element of like PR to it, because there was these like conspiracy theorists out there that want to like come after you. Yeah, like they just want to come after you because you're like you're fresh for a minute and it's like blood in the water. Yeah, and you gotta kind of weather that stuff. But that's not serious. Like that's literally like ignore it and it will go away type shit. Like, you know what I mean? That's deeply unserious.
It's clickbait shit. Like whatever.
The thing that was scary was like, how are we going to pay for this? Like, how are we going to make this happen? Where are we going to do this? Like, how are we going to continue making something that we used to make in a like very nice studio without that? How are we going to refocus this, right? And so what we did was we just sort of like approached it fresh, looked at our limitations, and stayed true to the like one clean idea that we have, and we're just executing it on the sushi ass level that we can. And the big thing for us, the way that we got over it, was by refocusing it around exactly what we've been talking about this whole episode, which is just like doing stuff that's the way that you want it to be. Because, you know, when you're on a show like that for that long and you've done it in all kinds of mindsets, right? Like sometimes the company's doing well, sometimes the show's doing well, sometimes the show is in trouble, sometimes it feels kind of like we're killing the channel because of what we're putting on it, sometimes because we just can't make people happy. You know, you never really know what, you know, it's hard to get a good idea of how you're doing and stuff like that.
Of course.
But it makes you come to work. It makes it sometimes feel like you're coming to work and you have to do it. And you just got to do it because right now we're X amount videos late and you have to, you know, whatever. And it's hard, you know, we've been doing the channel now for like 11 years almost. Like that's a long time for a YouTube channel, you know, especially for a Let's Play channel that comes out every day, right?
Every day.
Yeah, pretty much every day. On and off, you know, give or take, depending on the year.
Yeah.
But talking about thousands of videos, right?
Yes.
Like, thousands and thousands. Like there are no movie stars that have anything close to the amount of me there is out there, right? It's just crazy, right? But having the show through so many ups and downs and finding out what I like about it and knowing very clearly now that I'm 36 years old what about this makes me happy and what things in video games make me happy. You know, it was finally time, you know, and this is where I answer the how did I get through it. And, you know, it's finally time to just take a step back and be like, what do I want out of this? Why am I doing this? How do I do it right? How do I get rid of all the things that were holding us back before? And the answer was to just completely refocus on Patreon, because the thing that me and the people that watch me can agree on is that they want it to be fun and happy and enjoyable and alive, right? And the way to do that is to remove yourself from that drudgery of having to do brand deals with all these weird companies and trying to like chase trends all the time.
Right.
Because on the one hand, that's a smart thing to do because it gets results, right? But I think sort of the reward of putting in the time and being very unyielding about that sort of viewpoint that you have, and kind of, you know, Beard Bros has been around, and we're not that different in terms of like what comes out on the channel since we started. Like, it's basically the same shit. Like, it's just a bunch of guys being funny, right? But because we've always been earnest, you know, I feel like the reward for being around for this long now is that there's people that like we're very clear on what we are.
Yep.
Everybody's clear on what we are, and you either like it or you don't like it, right? And we just think now there's enough people out there who like it that they're willing to help us keep it afloat without having to make a video about Starfield or whatever the hell other huge video game is about to come out. You know, Elden Ring as a 400 episode series is so much more fun than us playing 1 hour of Shadow of the Air Tree on launch.
Yeah.
And taking, you know, hot peppers while we do it or whatever. You know,
Every time you die, take a shot or whatever. Yeah. Understood. Yeah, man. That's the beauty of the work you guys do, man. You're just, again, I guess that's the theme of this episode. You know, you're just yourselves, and you know, that's the reward. That's what we, as a member of the audience, that's what I want to see. That's what I'm here for. That's what I'm there watching Beard Bros for, and that's what you guys want to do. So like, bam.
If you can't come up with the reason for what you're thinking, you know, I think there's some beauty to that. Like, and I'm talking about as like a creator. If you can't come up with a reason why you're making the creative decision that you're making, I think that's kind of cool in a way. If you know that you need it to be a certain way, I think that's exciting. But I think that you should explore that, and I think that you should dig down into it and find out why your taste is the way that it is, and find out the intricacies of your voice, and find out, you know, that weird Japanese type of game that you like. Like, find out maybe a little bit more about that.
Yeah.
You know, and then you can like speak on it, you know, like, then you can, and you can say something that's vital to the conversation rather than trying to get the most clicks or get the biggest heart to appear on the bottom of your video or whatever. Like, literally just be real.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's tempting not to, but you'll be more successful in the long run if you're real.
100%. Well, it is now time for the speed round, where I'm going to ask you a bunch of silly random questions, and we're going to see how you do.
Okay.
All right. If you were the final boss in a video game, what would your title be?
Big, like Alex Faciane, comma, the something.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dark Souls. Like, yeah, you got it.
Eater of wings.
Okay.
I'm not going to explain any further. Go on.
You don't have to. No.
Yeah.
What would your boss theme music be? And you can choose any song from anywhere.
Mellow Yellow by Donovan.
If you were a superhero, what would your name be?
If I was a superhero, what would I even be? I would be.
The follow-up is what your superpowers would be too.
Okay, I would be Fact Man.
Okay, and the powers?
I can, with my touch, provide complete context for anything. I can impart full context to any situation through my touch. Like, I can.
Like, you touch someone?
I can like spread empathy through my touch.
Gotcha. Okay. If you can live in the world of your favorite childhood show, movie, or video game, which one would it be and why?
Dinotopia, because dinosaurs are real and integrated into society, and we all live on a beautiful island.
Okay. Which character from your childhood favorite show, movie, or game would you most like to have as a friend in real life?
Bix, the dinosaur from Dinotopia. It's like halfway between a best friend, a Pokemon, and like a secretary.
Okay.
And it's like a little cute red dinosaur.
Understood.
Do you know Dinotopia? Is that
I do
like
not.
far before your time?
Yeah.
Ah.
Funny enough.
Honestly, are you at a computer?
I am.
Just type in Dinotopia art and tell me if it's way more badass or like about what you expected.
Dinotopia art. Holy shit.
Pretty sick.
This is like,
Yeah. Yeah. Those are giant paintings. That's right. That's goddamn right. James Gurney. What's up? Dinotopia. Everybody thought I was fronting, but I wasn't fronting. Fuck yeah.
and this is a show?
It's a book series. There was a
book
show,
series.
but like really the joy is the books. They're like huge,
Gotcha.
beautiful books, and they're written like travel journals.
Oh my
They're
God.
like, it's like Dark Souls storytelling, but a book. It's cool.
Cool. All right. I'm going to check this out even further. Thank you for that.
I got that shit at the Scholastic Book Fair.
Fuck yeah, man. Oh my God. I mean,
I
this,
went home with Dinotopia and a copy of Myst. Yeah.
the shit that was popular for my Scholastic school fairs were this graphic novel called Bones.
Oh, I know Bone.
Yeah,
It's
man.
Bone, right?
Bones, yeah, something like that.
The little like
Little white dude. Yeah.
I know that. I know what that sounds like, but it's not that.
No.
Yeah.
It's
It looks like a tooth. Yeah.
yeah, it's great, man. It's great. I love that shit. If your current favorite show or movie were to be adapted into a musical, what genre of music would you envision for it?
It would be like psychedelic, like 70s rock, because like right now, me and Kelly are like, we just finished Doctor Who.
Oh,
We just watched like the new season of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
So it has to be like almost like the Who, actually. Like I know that's stupid,
That's
but like
perfect.
but it's like actually true. Like it has to be kind of like, or like maybe like the Moody Blues kind of vibes. Like I don't know. You know where we're at. If,
Yeah.
if you know, you know.
If you could attend any fictional event, for example, the Ewok celebration in Return of the Jedi, which one would it be and why?
I want to be there when humans make first contact with aliens in the Star Trek universe.
Wow. Okay. You just want to see what happens or how?
It's depicted in the movie First Contact. I just want to see.
Okay.
I want to be there. That would be awesome because it would be like me finding out that I would be able to be on the Millennium Falcon in my lifetime.
Understood. If you could have a cameo appearance in any movie or show, which one would it be and what role would you play?
Any movie or show?
Yeah. Or if you want to go further, like game, comic, whatever you want.
I want to be in X-Men.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know who I want to be in the X-Men, but I want to be an X-Man. I'll be the Wolverine from the other universe that's in love with Hercules.
Okay.
I like that guy.
All right. If you could create a crossover game combining any two franchises, which one would you pick and why?
Any two franchises?
Not necessarily your favorite, just anything you
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
will
No,
vibe.
I'm trying to like get a sick idea. Hold on. Pinball and like a visual novel, like a romantic visual novel in the world of professional pinball players. like a noir, like 80s pinball noir, like Phoenix Wright cross like pinball table game.
Gotcha. Okay.
Done. And the story plays out in that like red, like the
Yeah.
you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do. Yeah, yeah.
Maybe you can maybe
red
you can
scroller?
always see both, and you have to like play pinball to make choices. I don't know. I'm just
Gotcha.
spitballing.
Yeah, man. No, I like this. It's awesome. If you had to guess, what would you say is the song you've listened to the most times in your life?
I'm gonna look at my iTunes again, but it's like probably not. Oh, I don't know. It's probably like some classic oldie, or like maybe like a Rolling Stone by Bob Dylan, or
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. I listen to a lot. Like my taste in music is very eclectic. I listen to many songs, so I get obsessed with songs all the time. But the most one, I don't. It's hard for me to say.
Understood.
Maybe something from when I was young, like the Arcade Fire or something like that, or Interpol, or maybe just like Someday by the Strokes, something like that. Last Night by the Strokes.
Last Night by the Strokes.
Fell in Love with a Girl by the White Stripes, something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. What activities or pursuits most make you lose track of time?
List making. Like, okay, I don't know if you saw the 4th of July stream that we just did.
I did.
on Super Beer
Of course I did.
So what we did was I made like these like curated lists of like hundreds of video games for all the old consoles, and then I like made this like sort of program that randomly picked them off lists.
Yeah.
And because of that, it was like a random, like it almost felt like Doctor Who. Like you just get off the time machine and you're in another thing, and it's just totally crazy. But getting that all organized and making that work is like really great. Or like editing, same thing. Like when I really know what I already want, like when I'm in the full on just like physical like process of editing a video, and I'm just meticulously doing that. Or
oh man,
yeah. Or if we're talking about video games, like pinball's a great one, or like driving, like Gran Turismo type driving, something like that, or like breeding, Pokemon kind of stuff, like really repetitive little tasks, or Dynasty Warriors kind of things.
Yeah.
Mashing through an action game that's like I'm really familiar, like Devil May Cry. Any of the Devil May Cry games, like the first 3, I could just sit there and beat 2 times in a row, or No More Heroes, one of those types of games. Yeah.
Gotcha. What video games are you currently playing?
Right now, I am playing Final Fantasy Rebirth.
Yeah, me too.
Remake, the first one.
Okay, cool.
I did not play that yet. Kelly played it, and I accidentally got addicted to Crisis Core.
Yeah, man.
Out of nowhere.
Yeah.
It's not even good. Like it's just fun. It's not.
It is.
Yeah, it's just fun, and I like did everything in the game because of that, and so now I'm on to Rebirth or
Remake.
I keep doing this. Remake, the first one. But other games that I'm playing Mushihime-sama by Cave, really great shmup that's like awesome. It's on Switch, and it's pretty good. Pretty decent port. Or I don't know if there's a PC port, but it's one of those like good old Cave shmups.
Gotcha.
I'm playing a bunch of like old retro games right now. I'm like big into Cave Noir on the Game Boy. I'm also playing Trials of Mana.
Yeah,
that's a good RPG. I don't know. I play a lot. I do a lot of Mr. surfing. Like I have a Mr. and I just use my little randomizer list that I made for the 4th of July stream, and I just kind of like go check out a game and play it for like 20 minutes. It's a privilege to be able to do it. I'm glad that I'm able to do something like that, but my God, there is nothing more educational if you want to learn how to play video games than doing that. And then when you see a game that's interesting, like reading about it, there is literally nothing better to do to enrich your cred on games than that.
I love that. Yeah. I actually found like a randomizer list as well today after seeing the live stream, and I just made a list of all the games I have that I haven't beat, like I haven't seen the credits yet. So whenever I'm like sitting down and not playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth now, and I want to play something else, I'm just gonna like hit randomize. It gives me a game, and I'm just gonna be like, okay, I'll play for as long as I want, and then go from there. Yeah, man. And God, yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake, great game. I 100% completed that, and the Yuffie DLC, and
I'm probably not going to 100% it. I'll be real.
It's a lot.
I just want to. I haven't really been spoiled on it, and I just kind of want to. I liked that. I ended up liking the action in Crisis Core, even though it kind of sucks. And Remake is similar, I guess.
Kinda.
But it's kind of muddled right now. Like I think it's like a little bit overly complicated. But I'm still having fun. I'm like getting like very like DMs Devil May Cry about it.
Yeah.
Definitely Final Fantasy 16 has better combat than Final Fantasy 7, but
gotcha.
I think there's no substitute for the level of sheer luxury that Final Fantasy 7 has because of the budget of the game. It's just velvety.
Yeah.
It's just so pretty.
Yes,
it's just dumb. It's dumb. It's like when your Uber shows up and it's like one of those other electric car brands that's like nicer than Tesla, and you're like, oh, hello.
What would your 14-year-old self think of who you are today?
I think that on paper he would be very impressed. Let's put it. Yeah, I think on paper he'd be very impressed. I don't think I would let him know about the hard bits.
Gotcha. Well, it is now time for you to recommend 3 people that when your episode comes out, you'll share this episode with, and that you're going to help me get them on the show if you think they'll say yes.
That's your secret evil plan to get more people on the show?
100%. Yeah.
I don't know who would say yes. I don't know. I guess I could ask Pat the NES Punk, but like people who I want to see on the show, I don't really know them. Like I name dropped SNES Drunk earlier. I think he's one of the best YouTubers out there. You ever watch his channel?
I have not, no.
It's called SNES Drunk. He's been around for years and years and years. He writes these just perfect little unpretentious Super Nintendo mostly reviews of like every game on the system, does lists, does everything, but it's very like what I'm talking about. There's very much like a flavor to his work that is just very good, and developed and cultivated, and he has a take. I'd love to see him on the show, but maybe you should watch a lot of his videos before.
Of course.
You do, but I have no way of contacting him. I could help. I could tweet at him.
That'd be great.
One time Jesse got an egg allergy, and I tweeted at Max Miller from Tasting History, and he was like, "That's true. I have one too." So magic does happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. And a third one, I don't know, maybe Kels. I could ask Kels. She
That'd
might
be
want
cool.
to be on the show.
Yeah, that'll be great. Yeah, whoever you think can help me get on, I will be forever appreciated for that. And yeah, do you have any final thoughts?
I feel like we got a pretty good little thesis out of this. I feel like we accidentally ended up talking about the same thing the whole episode, which feels good. Like it feels like we planned it, But I don't know. Follow your dreams. Actually, that's stupid. Follow your whims.
Yeah.
Follow your whims. Don't follow your dreams. Follow your whims. Like do things that you're actually interested in and be curious and actually educate yourself. Don't just think of it as all masturbation for good times. Don't just goon to everything that you watch.
Yeah.
Really engage, answer the questions, find out why it's the way that it is. I know it feels like it's not fun to do that, but it actually is extremely rewarding and makes you enjoy things more. How do I have so many opinions that so many people get angry at, and yet I still have this job? Maybe my opinion has impressed someone. You know what I mean? Maybe just staying true to yourself gains you the respect of the people who hear what you're saying, and that's all you need. Maybe you don't need to satisfy everyone. That's it.
Well said. Thank you so much for being on the show, Alex. This has been an honor, a pleasure, a lot of other big words that means good things. Thank you so much.
Well, man, thank you.
All right, that's all the time we have for today, guys. If you want to hear more from Alex, be sure to follow him at FacianeA on Instagram and Twitter. And be sure to check out his various shows and podcasts, the Super Beer Brothers and Scary Game Squad on YouTube, and the Chilluminati podcast and the Star Wars Old Canon Book Club wherever you get your podcasts. Links to all this will be in the description down below. Please let us know what you think about this episode somewhere on the internet, and make sure to follow us on Instagram at Razzle Show, on TikTok at Razzle_Dazzle_Show, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, at Raz_Daz_Pod. Be sure to leave us 5-star ratings and a nice little written review down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Next time on The Delta Quest. Urzak has gotten himself in a bit of a sticky situation. Will he be able to talk his way out of this, or is there a fight looming on the horizon? Will Pike make a clean getaway, or will his crimes come back to haunt him? And will Beans finally graduate from community college? Find out next time on The Delta Quest.